Tech layoffs have been piling up, as we've been reporting, after a year of slowing growth and plunging stock prices. Goldman Sachs says the mass layoffs of big companies like Meta and Amazon, that they're not a sign of a U.S. recession. That's where we find Sozzi's take this year.
Yes, this year. I've done every single take on this.
We've had a lot of people sort of chiming in on this, I feel like, this week, saying, this is not a disaster for the U.S. economy, nor is it a disaster for the labor market, just sort of putting all of this in perspective.
Yeah, it's not a good look per se. You never want to see big household name companies laying off people en masse. But let me take through this, guys, on why these announcements and these tech layoffs are in fact happening, trying to make it as simple as humanly possible. Tanking stock prices, Meta, Amazon, all of these stock prices have been under significant pressure, and all these executives in the C-suite at these companies know that historically one way to get the stock price up is to fire people, because that improves your profits, and then perhaps the stock price improves months down the line. Next up, slowing sales and profit growth. The growth rates across big cap tech have come down considerably compared to 5-year averages, so that is worth noting as well. And then lastly, pressure by large investors on tech to focus on profits. A lot of institutional investors are really hammering the executive teams and the boards at these big cap tech companies to go back and fine-tune what processes, what projects these companies are working on to find cost savings and try to improve profits at a time where sales and profits are in fact slowing. Now, Goldman Sachs out with a very cool note yesterday, looking at why these tech layoffs don't mean a recession is going to happen tomorrow or perhaps at any point this year, or even early next year, I should say. Tech is still a small component of overall employment. Good note there by Goldman. Tech is still in fact hiring. Goldman goes into their note how there's still a lot of job openings in tech, maybe just not at Meta and Amazon. And lastly, tech layoffs, not a leading indicator. Usually pretty good chart here from the Goldman team on this one, showing on layoffs versus the economy here. And the overall takeaway is that they're right. Usually these tech layoffs don't mean a recession or a sharp growth slowdown coming over, let's say, six-month future period. So a good chart by them overall. Lastly, as I mentioned at the top here, my take is, tech layoffs are still a red flag. When you see a Meta lay off 11,000 people and Amazon 10,000 people, those are still people, those are still jobs. They will likely show up at some point in a way in those jobs report numbers that we talk about here at Yahoo Finance once a month on an early Friday morning. It doesn't matter when they show up.